welcome to this edition of the Farmer Greg Show. And I know I'm not been putting out videos regularly, but I am still putting them out. Excuse me. This one is kind of a little different. This one, all these slothing mods that have come out in the last little bit, and including today with the colossal one there, and we I haven't seen anybody do a video on how to explaining which one's better, which one, how they work, all that. But that's going to change on this video because I'm going to, as quickly and as efficiently as I can, I'm going to tell you how they work. Well, first let's go to the mod hub, or not mod hub, but to mod page. This was the original Slothing mod that came out when the game came out some 6.5, 7 months ago, maybe. The MacDon, and of course you had to use, let's see, where's that one, that head there, or this one here, the 140, or the FD 140, to go through and take the crop and put the Slothing row up. But then you had to put this on front of a combine and pick it up. This is your pickup. Well, they never have, in my opinion, with this thing. They've updated it. The MacDon's had a couple updates as well as overall game updates. This thing still doesn't pick up like it needs to. I mean, it's struggling. Because let me show you something. I have already done a test with it, with all of these Slothing, and I'm going to tell you what those results are in just a minute. I use that combine right there, which it says no, I use this one because I like Massey. And I'm telling you, and I did the test on this field right here, field 3 that you start with on this map, has wheat in it. Wheat, out of all the crops that you can slough, probably is the highest yielding, hands down. This field, if you just go in here and harvest it without sloughing, around 12,000 liters is what you're going to get. And so that's what I did. Well, with the MacDon, it netted me 17,104. But that's after I went back, when I finished, and I went there and I laid straw down and I picked it up and went back. When I got the straw up, there was spots of, and that's what I'm talking about, that I had missed. It did not initially pick it clean. So I had to go back, and I was at like 16,999 or something like that. Anyway, when I did that, it took it over. Well, so that's why, and honestly, I'm an old school farmer. We didn't do sloughing. Wasn't no such a thing as sloughing when I was farming, but it does. If you get more yield, you will get more money, obviously. So on this game, but on to the next one. This is a mod that came out a few weeks ago, and it's. I know it looks funky on the front of that tractor, but I'm telling you, this setup works. You run this head, and I did that in this field with that setup, and I got a total, and we can go over and look. I can show you. This is where you dump it when you, and that's an in-game loader wagon. That's not a modded one. That is an in-game. You see, I got hooked, and it pulled it and picked it up. Didn't miss nothing. And you see at the top it says wheat 20,824. That's after. Let me show you. Let me see, where's the little. There it is. All right. There's nothing. It's all you see. It's all the wheat down there. 20,824. It gave me 20,000 liters. This is what I call a stationary productions combine. In other words, it separates. It doesn't thrash. It just separates the. It's called a swath separator. Yeah. And if we come right here and look, you see it does wheat, barley, oats, canola, and soybean. And even the canola got more. This field of canola right here. Now, right here, I did some canola with that and with the Macdon. Now I hadn't did no canola with this lizard, this colossal deal here. It's a little. We'll talk about that in a minute. It's a little bit different. The colossal is, but you see this. I got this head actually wider than the grain head. You can extend it. I forgot now what I had it set at, but anyway, and it picked up. I mean, it cut that wide. But this was, really nice. I mean, this, if I was going to sloth, I think that's the way I would go. Anyway, but this came out today, and I'm a little bit perplexed, and the jury's still out on this. I don't know if the modders, they may have there's some kinking that's going, glitching or whatever, because when I put this head on, and this is the only vehicle that works with both of these heads, that one back there and the one that's on the front of it right now. But that's actually, it looks like a forge head that they've made to work on the front of this combine, modded it. Yeah, it really looks like a forge head, because essentially, when you do it this way even, and it picks it up, it does say forage, wheat forage or something like that, and you put it in here and it separates the straw. That's why you see down there it says straw, 121,920 liters. That's wheat, and it was also, it actually pulled a little bit out of the canola. It wasn't a whole heck of a lot, but it was some. Even though you can't put a straw slough down for a canola in the field, using that, you can get a little bit of straw off of it, because it did it there. Anyway, getting back to this thing here, I used this head with this combine on this same field over here. Now, remember I told you, without slothing, you could get about 12,000, round about 12,000 liters in this field. But with that colossal one that came out, and I didn't use the pickup head there. I didn't have to, because when you put this here head on, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me better yet, let me just go this way. Come down here. Okay, wait a minute, no. That's the one on front of the combine right there. You see, it says, and it says it's set at 3 meters right now, but you can put it I think as big as 50. Same thing with that. I got it at 16, which is standard. But this head here, I put it on front of this combine and slothed that field at 50 meters. But here's what happened. It looked like it wasn't slothing. It slung out in the back. It did just like it normally does there, and it looked like the wheat went into harvester like you were just harvesting it. It did not put a sloth down it. And I even, in the middle of what I was doing, I said, well, maybe I got to turn on the straw sloth. I put a straw sloth on and put it down, and then tried to pick it up, but this didn't work. But what it harvested into this combine was 15,052 liters. So you gained only 3,000 liters. 3,000 liters. Let's see. Well, actually, 2,000 liters. But with the Macdon, it was 4,000 because it went up to 17,000. But with this setup over here, and not even using the combine, using the stationary one, the productions, we got 20,000 liters of wheat in off of that same field. And that field I hadn't when I did the test, when I tested it, I didn't fertilize. I harvested the way it was when you start. There wasn't no fertilizer, nothing on it. I didn't add none to it. I did that intentionally because I wanted to feel like it was, so it would be accurate. So, but so I'm not. It's like I said, I'm not sure about this head here. My assumption is that's what it did. It picked up this and did everything, so you didn't have. They got this. The modders has got it where you don't have to use, but this head at all. But if you choose to pick it up like that with that kind of head, then you have to use something like this to put it down with, or the MacDon to put a sloth down so you can pick it up that way. But they got it all in one head here, which is nice if that's what, and I'm assuming that's what it was because it did harvest, like I said, it harvested more than what you would get in the field if you just did it harvesting the old traditional way with a regular combine and a grain head. You would get about 12 or 13,000 liters. That's what I actually got. 13,655. I'm sitting here looking at. I wrote it down on a piece of paper here. And I'm sitting here looking at it. 13,000. Just this field here, without slothing it, just regular harvest. It netted me 13,655. But with, like I said, with the MacDon, it got 15. No, it got 17. But with the Colossal, it only got 15. Now, but I was a little bit puzzled because the way that Colossal did it, there was no sloth to pick up. It was all in this one. It appears it's all in this one head here. So, but yet they still gave you two ways to pick it up. If you want to put a separate sloth down, you can put this head on. And I don't know. I didn't test that head to see how well it. I do know you can maneuver the head, their head, just like you can that grain head, and where it'll pick up 50 meters at a time, which is pretty big, But me being a retired farmer, if I were going to sloth, even though this looks kind of funky, here's what I would do. That's the way I would harvest it, because, like I said, look how much wheat we got out of that with using this and not using the combine at all. And I've had this conversation with a couple other people that I play on this game with. I'm being a retired farmer, and it takes more fuel and more effort to run the combine in the field and thrash it. Granted, I know it's not threshing as clean as that production's over there, but you should get more. There should be more money is for the effort in the field rather than putting it in a production and letting it run like that. I know it costs something to put a production down like that. I don't know if they even got anything like this in real life. If they do, it's probably so expensive you can't hardly afford to do it. That's why you have to. If you're going to do it that way, do it in the field as you're harvesting. But anyway, that is slothing in a nutshell with what we have to sloth with. Let me show you again. Okay, there's the MacDon up there. Right there's the MacDon. And I'll show you the Colossal. You have to use that combine right there, the normal combine. I'll show you when you hit R3, see it brings it up. Here's the other head, the one I got behind the combine, and see that. And well, wait a minute. Yeah, that's the one. And when you hit R3 on that, You use that. So the combine does both of that. That's a collector, and that's actually the Slothing head. But and that's yeah. And then the other is right there, and of course it's that head that I got on the front of that Deutsch tractor, and I mean you can set it. I think I got it working with set all the way to 13.7 meters, which is, but standard is 7.6. Yeah, I got it at 13.7 because that's what the standard size, and it goes 13 mile an hour. Now pulling that trailer with that small, that tractor only has 230 horsepower, and I got dual wheels on it and everything. It pulls fine, but running it all together is a little bit slower. What I would suggest would be not to pick it up at the same time. Go through the field, cut it, because you can go a little faster. Then you'll be able to go 13 mile an hour, and then pick this up afterwards and go and pick it up. Howbeit, when I did all this together, even when I turned, no misses. I was pleasantly surprised. No turns, no misses. I mean, it just picked the field clean. I can't say that about the MacDon. Remember, I told you, when I originally finished with it, I had 16,999 in the combine. I had to with that. I'll show you which combine it was. Let me foot. No, that Delta combine, right? No, Beta combine. I said Delta. This is the smaller one. Yeah, it's what was the Activia on. Wasn't it? Let's see, what does it hold? Yeah, this was the Activia on 19 and 22. Now they've changed the name to Beta Heart Mass Ferguson. Yeah. Anyway, and that combine right there, I had to go back out in the field once I went out and picked up the straw and got it out of the way. There were spots, and there was one or two little spots I ran over 2 or 3 times. Never, I don't know if it was too flat. What that MacDon head just would not. That head right there just would not work. Now, this head is on the front of this combine here. That looks like a forging head. It's got the teeth on it, kind of like the MacDon. Yeah, but it's anyway. I would not use, and I like some of the colossal stuff. Don't get me wrong, but this is not going to. You might as well just not even sloth if you're going to use that. And the MacDon, I just have not liked it from the beginning because of that head, that pickup head. Excuse me, because it just don't pick up. And so it even though they've updated it umpteen times, everything, it still misses. Even with a decent combine on it, I had to go back. This by far is the best, cleanest way and most efficient way, in my opinion, to get. If you're going to sloth, this is the way to do it here, because you can just put. And here's the thing: you don't have to. You're not have to worry about slothing it out in the field. You just cutting and picking up, and you can bring it here and dump it in this thing here, and it goes while you're on to something else. Finish getting the field ready to next crop or whatever you got to do. You got animals, whatever you got. You ain't got it's separating there. Once it separates, you can. I mean, that's why you got that spout on it. You can take it out, leave it there. I mean, it holds. Let's see. Oh, it's saving y'all. It holds up to 500,000. Looks like on about everything, yeah. Storage wise, yeah. I mean, it goes pretty fast. You see, it says 1,004 on the wheat. Oh, that's barley, excuse me. Where's wheat? It's about the same on the wheat. 1,440 cycles per month, and only $24 a cycle. So you, I mean, you're, you see down there it says recipe. When you put at 115 goes to wheat and 375 goes straw. So you see that. My question is, does it say that about canola too? Yep. So see, you get straw off of canola when you put it in here where you don't, because you can't lay no straw down. Yeah. What about the soybeans? Yep. So my opinion, if you're gonna do slothing, and I've been a big, as far as productions on this map, on this game, personally, they're really not farming. It's just further down the production chain. Most farmers wouldn't have time to do that. Once they clear the field and get their money, you know, the stuff like this, unless they have something like this on their land, where they can sell the crop. But this is will be a good production to make money off of, because you can separate that trash and all, and there's one other thing I thought about trying, I hadn't done yet. Is one like this wheat here, this 20,000 liters of wheat that I'm putting down, and I may test it, and that I may be the next video I do, and I'll tell you what I find out. Once you separate it, then you take that 20,000 liters of wheat, and then you put it through one of those dryers that we have. I don't have it installed right now on this here, this particular one, but there's a dryer that came out that does wheat, and my question is, will you get the price for dried wheat or for that slothed wheat? Once it's dried, I'm assuming the dry would it would no longer be just slothed. It would be dried. It wouldn't be dried sloth, but that would be cool if it, I don't know. It probably would not. Anyway, I'll have to be another episode. But until next time, remember, this is Farmer Greg saying, see ya.